should probably turn off my music, huh?
Hey everybody joining that may join in Facebook Live or watch it in the archives. I'm doing a podcast with my friend Jason here.
Hello.
And Jason, please tell everybody your social media name.
Hi everyone. I'm Jason. I'm mostly on Instagram by the name of KC Elements Podcast, and today we're gonna talk to your well, you guys know him already, J. Richard Varvel, and we'll see what we get to, what kind of conversation we're gonna have today. I'm excited.
Me too. This is my first podcast, so Jason is gonna be taking me through the experience.
So, how was your weekend?
My weekend was fantastic. It was kind of nonstop. I went to a Beltane ritual at the Enchanted Cottage on Saturday, and that was my first experience with that kind of ritual. And it was all about celebrating spring and Mother Earth, and the really celebrating fertility, all the blooming, the flowers, and then also the planting of the crops and everything. So, and just with some good friends, that was a great experience on Saturday. And then
Where was that at?
That was at the Enchanted Cottage. It's in kind of central Bakersfield, right there on H near Brundage.
Oh, okay.
And they're a metaphysical bookstore, spiritual bookstore. They have all kinds of minerals like crystals, as well as like sage and sweetgrass, essential oils, candles, anything to do with the spiritual side of life.
Okay.
They can take care of. They have the good stuff there.
That's cool. I want to check that out.
Yeah, so it's a cool space.
Yeah.
And then Sunday I went into LA, and a friend of my mom's has a spring party every year,
Okay.
and that's in La Cañada, or La Crescenta, excuse me. They're very close. So went there, and then after that went to Mount Washington, a place called the Self-Realization Center.
Yeah.
It's the Mother Center that's like near the top of the mountain, and it has a great. Not only is there a fantastic garden there that's open to the public, but also overlooks downtown, and it's really awesome. Like it's just a great, like on a beautiful day, or even on a cloudy day, it's just really nice to take in all the beautiful flowers and the plants, and it's like a really cool walking path and places to sit and meditate.
Have you been there before?
I have. It's one of my favorite places in LA, and
yeah, because I saw the video you did on Facebook, and I was kind of filled with joy at the end when you were kind of like telling everyone, okay, I'm gonna like end the video now pretty soon, and you just look like you were so like enlightened and like uplifted, like you were just having the greatest time by being there, you know.
It definitely, for me, is definitely like a recharge of energy.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for me to tune into the earth energy. You know, whether I look at it as Mother Earth, but it's not really. It's not a person, but it is a consciousness, as far as I see it. And so for me, just seeing the plants and the flowers right now, spring, and whoever handles the gardening and the pruning and taking care of the grounds is just like very in touch with elementals.
Imagine having that job.
Yeah, I mean, as much as it's work, but at the same time, what you're like creating the way for beauty, you know, it's amazing. So.
I would love to have a job like that, or be somewhere where you're like in nature. It definitely helps out to be around that. And I was thinking too, like to meditate. Is that really what it's for? Is it for meditation, or is it just to kind of get
meditation, contemplation? I'd say prayer, even prayer, quiet time. Like taking religion or spirituality out of it, just a place to go be in nature and be able to touch a tree, hug a tree if you want to, but even just sit. Like there was they call it the Temple of Leaves. And it's these benches that surround this beautiful tree, and then there's also plants all around, and it just allows you to just be immersed within nature, and especially in a city with Los Angeles, where it's like concrete jungle, and it's built up, and it can be very wild.
It's an oasis.
It's nice to get to a place that's in the middle of the city, but that you can just feel at peace, like you went to Big Bear, or you went and actually really got yourself out into nature.
Yeah. So this is episode number 3. So I'm glad you're on episode number 3.
Episode number 3.
And the reason I bring up 3 is because I just kind of found out that there's such thing as numerology, or there's
nice.
there's actually meanings behind numbers, and like there's some numbers that obviously you've always had like an idea of, like, oh well, that means this, but there's actually more. The more you look into it, the more you find out. So I'm still getting myself a little bit familiar, kind of slowly as I go. But I noticed in your meditation you say, let's go bring our silver ball light 33 feet out today. And I'm curious, is there a reason why, or is there a number behind, or a meaning behind the number 33? I noticed today you used 44.
Yeah, and when I do it, I tune in the moment. There are certain significances. There is some occult meaning to 33. There's even a Club 33 at Disneyland. There is, it's a Masonic number, a level that you can reach within that system.
Yeah.
And it's also can be, I see it associated with Christ consciousness, not Jesus Christ per se as a man, but more of the consciousness that we can embody. And so that's kind of where I see it. And then what's interesting that you mentioned 3, and that this is episode 3.
Yeah.
3 is important to me. I have a life path number of 3 in my numerology. And so 3 just always is a number that speaks to me, that stands out. Like I have this app called Doreen Virtue's Angel Numbers, or Angel Numbers 101. And it's an app, I think it's like $4.99 or something. And you can type in any number, and it has some kind of message. And you can do the 333s or the 444s, like or the 546s, but you can also just, if a random number jumps out at you, like 872, you can look it up.
Yeah.
And I always find it fascinating that even though I don't totally play in the angel realm only, I just feel like it's a way the universe can communicate something to me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I have a number that I've always noticed. It happens to me almost every day. Sometimes I won't notice it for like a day or 2, but I'll look at the time either in the morning or at night, and it's 8:31. And 8:31 is the area code of where I grew up.
Okay.
In Northern California.
Okay, yeah.
So I see that number all the time, and I always kind of freak myself out a little bit. Like, why do I always see, like, I don't pick up the phone and look at the time and notice it, or it doesn't jump out at me, but it jumps out at me with 8:31 or 8:31. And with my dad, he's told me it happens to him too, but with the number 1234. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
So I wonder, like, what that is.
Or... I'm not. I've done some research in numerology, and like I like to go online, and if I'm wanting to look something up, search numerology and whatever else I can kind of think about in Google, and then kind of let the universe guide me to a page, use discernment, and just see what information's there.
Yeah.
But tuning in like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or any kind of one right after the other number in sequence, like to me that shows like you're in your own flow. Like it's a sign from the universe, like yes, you're on the right path, you're in your own flow, you're flowing with no resistance, so like trust it. That's what I take from that. And since my phone has doing the Facebook Live right now, after the show I'll look at 8:31.
Okay.
And just see what it is, because a number that I see a lot, that's 549. It's the first 3 numbers in my social. And when I worked back at Bank of America in my corporate days, that was our login, was our social and our a password. Yeah. And so it's just that number always has been in the forefront. And so now it just is a way for me. It jumps out at me to show that I'm synchronistically, like I see and feel with you that's coming to you to show you that you're also, on your path, and that's all's well, and that you can really settle into it. That's how I like, and that you're getting that breadcrumb back from the universe with confirmation. And then those are great, because oftentimes we can miss those things, and it's nice to get that physical confirmation.
Yeah, I've after speaking with you last week, it's been a week. Another reason why I'm doing this podcast is because of conversations like this. Because I'll have a conversation with you, and then I kind of think about something that I never really thought about, and it kind of gives me a clearer view to either something that I'm doing or something I've been thinking about, and I forgot where I was going with this.
When you were laying out
something that you kind of brought up to my attention is how we're always getting feedback from the universe, and after kind of realizing that, I'm paying attention to it more, and I'm kind of like feeling it like, okay, like maybe this is my chance to tell the universe this, to show them that this is something that I'm working towards, or show them this is something that I want. So it's like a step in the right direction, you know, and then just waiting to see what comes after, what comes next, and you know, by the universe.
I love all that what you're saying, and just I'll kind of give you a little bit of description of how I flow with that. Like, I see it as we get to put out intentions into the world, you know, kind of like that whole idea from Star Trek Next Generation, if you ever saw the holodeck, where they could just you know, say what time period they wanted to be in, and that they wanted to be in nature, and that they wanted to have da-da-da experience, and then all of a sudden the computer would generate this holographic world that they could go walk into, and it was real. You know, they could literally tangibly touch things and interact with it. And so I see that idea that when we pray, or when we are setting intentions, or we're having that conversation with ourselves, that's going somewhere. You know, we're letting the universe know this is what I want to experience, like dreaming big. And you know, dreaming doesn't cost anything, so it's great to dream big. And you know, the more we can expand that dream, the more it allows the universe to surprise us, because we're not limiting. Oftentimes, like, you know, if we get too bogged down in like, oh, I need to figure this out, like I need to like get it all 20 steps, you know, figure it out, and then, you know, then I can be okay, you know, then it's okay, or then I can do it, then I can quit my job, or then I can, you know, go take that trip. And for me, it's, you know, these opportunities show up, you know, not always as you might want them. They come at time, you know, not always the most opportune time, but at the same time very synchronistic, I've found. And it's just a matter of following the breadcrumbs, taking action steps. I think the action steps, you know, the universe meets us in the action steps. Then it's, you know, again, kind of being quiet again, what's the next best step, and then you get going. What's the next, you know, just constantly being in that place where we're tuned in, you know, we're in the flow, and we have a sense of the flow, whatever that means to us, and we are seeing the synchronicities through the experience coming to life, and then we enjoy it. You know, we do our best to enjoy it and not get bogged down in like what hasn't manifested yet, or what isn't quite right yet. And you know, those things, I think, you know, in my own experience, I've got bogged down in like you know, I don't have enough money, or where's the money going to come from, or how am I going to do this, and just so weighed down in the hows. And one thing that a teacher taught me that helped me start to change that around was that God is ways and means, and I and you are fun and entertainment. And what that means is God, the universe, will create the how, the timing, the flow, and then we get to enjoy it. So we've like kind of forgotten our place in the whole experience, where we're trying so hard to do it from our humanness, and yet we have so much more than our humanness part of this. You know, like some people look at it as like an invisible self, or you know, the unseen part of life. But we bring it to life when we engage it.
And something that I think about too a lot is how meditation and having that quiet time alone with yourself to kind of just get your thoughts together and get, all right, what's my next step? Well, like, who am I right now? What's my goals right now? What am I trying to accomplish? You know, what is important to me in today in my life? And meditation was something to me that it's something that it helps me get grounded, and it gets helps me get in touch with myself, which in ordinary life, and you're always on the go. A lot of people forget that there's something like that out there, and there's a spirituality side to us that a lot of, I mean, at least in my circle of friends or family, it's not something that they take part in, and I feel like by them trying it out or doing it, they'll be able to see the pros that come with it. So what's something that got you into like meditation, or what's something that you like about the spirituality and getting in touch with yourself?
For me, it came to go just a little to a deeper place, but to me it came out of survival. At the time, I was working at Warner Brothers. I was going through therapy, working on a drug addiction to cocaine, and I was at a place in my life where I was like, okay, well, if this is it, and even though to some people what I was doing and my job and my position and where I was living, for some, dream, and in a lot of ways it was, and I appreciated it, but then there was this whole part of me that couldn't appreciate it, couldn't let myself like enjoy it. I didn't feel worthy, and so for me, being able to learn how to meditate it changed my life in the sense that I could finally begin to quiet all of the noise that was just so loud for me that about drove me crazy. Like I was like, I couldn't, I don't know, I was probably pretty close to a 5150. And that, and looking at different ways to meditate, like, there's meditating and vacuuming, there's meditating and doing the dishes, or organizing a closet, or sitting down to color, painting, or going out into the garden. Those are all ways that we can slow down and, like just in the very way we can organize a closet, we're organizing our mind, or we're doing the dishes, like there's a place where we get to stop and process our day, process like, what the heck just happened, 10 minutes ago, or what happened at work, or how do we feel, just check in with ourselves, how do we feel right now, and those are, I find, important things that we forget to do. I think we're waiting for the right time, or for things to slow down, and what we forget in that is that we are the ones creating our reality. So if we don't create that time, who's going to do it for us? Like nobody. You know what I mean? So if we don't schedule that in, for ourselves somehow, then it can often go undone, because life is busy. There's a million things wanting to pull out of our attention every day. Just every day, you know what I mean? Like, it's like wild.
Every day. And something I think about a lot is like, what are we? What are humans? Like, what's the purpose of this? Like, were we put here? Is this I can't think of the word. A simulation?
Like virtual reality, but some aliens, virtual reality. Yeah.
Like, what do you think this is?
That is
this is a fun conversation for me. I love to talk about it.
Awesome. Well, I like the question. I feel like it's a little bit of a...
Everyone's answer is different, and everyone's answers I can't say yes or no to, because who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's a loaded question. I feel like there's many layers, and so it's going to be fun to see what
it changes every time. We always come up with something different.
Right now, I mean... Well, one thing that first comes to mind, and to touch on your comment about what we put here, and I think this came up with our conversation at Dagny's, and this whole idea that we call different cultures around the world, these different areas where these different groupings of people live, we call them cultures, just in the very same way if you went to the doctor and you got a culture of your throat, and you put that culture on a petri dish, and you were waiting to see which bacteria grows and to see what happens with it, and there is this aspect of these cultures that have been planted, quote unquote, around, and to see, how they flourish or they don't flourish, or, how it goes, and so I think there is there is that element, and I don't have an answer. I feel like I've telepathically tuned into beings that were Palladian and Arturian, so alien in that way. But I haven't had, up until this point, a physical, interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just been an inner communication, if that makes sense. So I know from that sense, and then just from you look at science and like how many planets there are, it's like it doesn't even make sense that there wouldn't be other life. Like it just doesn't even make sense that there wouldn't be. Like,
yeah.
So to think that we're the only ones, like it's like this just doesn't make sense. So like I think there's just some expanding past.
The universe is infinite.
Yeah, and so just to like, and to think that
to think that the universe is infinite and we're the only ones in the universe that have, it's almost like kind of silly to think.
Yeah, and one other thing that comes to mind, because this just came up last week, was, and it came through this other person I went to go their event, and it was this whole idea of the arrogance to think that humans or other, human-like entities living on another planet need water. Why couldn't they live off dust?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why does it, why can't, why are we limiting how a human can operate?
Yeah.
And again, so I think there's just some mind-blowing things that we could do for ourselves to just blow out some of these preconceived notions, or like that all aliens are scary, or all aliens are going to save us. I think there's these two camps, or a lot of different camps really, but a lot of extremes. And who knows if it's going to be something kind of in between, where I feel like there is going to be some kind of introduction to more of our galactic heritage and to what else is out there. But it really comes from our own growing up as a species, our own human, us here on the planet, growing up and being able to handle that. There's a lot of still very religious folks that. I don't know what that would do, if literal aliens landed and like represented themselves, what kind of alter or reality shattering that would be.
Yeah.
So that's the part where, that's who knows, like that. I think we get to create it. We're creating it now. More and more is trickling out. I feel like we're a part of something bigger than our personal self, yet I feel like our personal self is very important. Our own unique piece of this puzzle, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So I see that as being kind of how I see it, and I always see it differently. It's always just.
Mm-hmm. So for my.
What do you think?
what do I think? Oh boy. I think. With this piece of knowledge that I think scientists are looking into right now, which is. That I'm not sure if I talked to you about this last time, but that in the galaxy, in our galaxy and in every other galaxy, that there's a black hole. Did I tell you that?
I don't know that you told me this, so this is good.
Okay, there's a black hole that's the size of it is 1/2 of 1% of all the matter in all the universe. So if you factor that in, I would picture this black hole as it's pretty big.
Yeah.
And scientists, I feel bad because I heard this on a podcast, and I was like, oh, but then again, I didn't actually do the research myself.
Well, and it's still worth thinking about.
Yeah.
What is that? What could that mean? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I just think it's
so. What they're saying is that with this black hole. There's a possibility that if you go through that black hole, that there is hundreds of billions of other galaxies, all with black holes at the center of them, with the same thing again. So, in other words, the universe is infinite.
Yeah,
and to think that the universe is infinite, and we're here thinking that like we're the center of it all.
Yeah.
And
all by ourselves.
Yeah.
All by ourselves. All by our lonesome out here.
Yeah. So I think. That kind of puts it in perspective for me for like how silly a lot of people take things way too seriously. A lot of people take things like the smallest things, and it's easy to do because I think we are humans and we are flawed. But I think if you have that in perspective, you kind of just tend to just say, whatever.
Well, an interesting flawed or. Yeah, because I for some reason that feels a little negative, And then not that, negative's bad either. We want to think all negatives is horrible or all positive's good, and there's just the right time and right place. So that's really the point I'm really trying to get at is that, for us to have this real experience, it's not going to be perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's not about, it's about just being able to be present, do the best we can from where we're at in all ways, mentally, physically, spiritually. This is, again, how I see it. And going, being in the flow, letting one experience lead to the next.
Yeah.
And not being so rigid and fixed and open, letting the universe kind of bring new things to us. Change is a part of this. To think that I just see some people that they want to attain a certain, goal or job or house or whatever, and then they just want to hold on to it so tight. But what if something better wants to come along? What if you especially if you've dreamed big, a bigger dream for yourself, to stop the change is literally stopping the universe from bringing the dream into reality. And that's the part where we can kind of shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
In that way.
A lot of the times I think people could get unhappy with where they're at in life. But I think it's all just a process. So wherever we're at in life, the way I kind of look at it is, or I try to look at it because I make the mistake of forgetting sometimes too, is that this is just a part of our story.
Yeah.
This is a part of, we might not be where we want to be at the moment, but maybe this is the exact moment that we need to be experiencing so we could get to what our what our future is, or what we hope for is, a better tomorrow.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. We don't know. For example, we had a house fire, destroyed everything. That was crazy. To have that experience. And 1 minute I'm making lunch, and then the next minute, the house is on fire, in the backyard, and it's just it's just wild, and then the whole rebuild process, and it could have been very easy to get lost in the victim. It's oh my God, my house burned down, and oh, poor us, and there was, a point where we had to realize, yes, this happened, but then it was just all about, okay, well, this is an opportunity to rebuild, this is an opportunity to see this differently. We lived in the neighborhood Tavis Ranch right over here. We were neighbors, and and that was great, But it was up to us to turn it around, turn and look at the experience and say, okay, I'm going to use this to my advantage. I don't know how I'm going to use it to my advantage, but I'm going to use this to my advantage. And believe it or not, when we set those kind of intentions for ourselves, it's we set ourselves up for success, and we also set ourselves up to see it, maybe not always in the moment, but hindsight is great. It is nice to be able to look back and make connections and allow the dots to become a whole picture, and that's good. But at the same time, the life just keeps going though too, you know what I mean? So it's again allowing ourselves to flow, back from doing and being and doing and being. It's
a lot of it is mindset to me. I heard the story of the Chinese farmer. Did I tell you that? No. I heard the story of the Chinese farmer, which is a farmer that has a horse, and one day his horse runs away, and all the people from the village come and tell him, how horrible is that your horse ran away, and how that's so sad, or that's so bad. And his answer or his reply is, well, maybe. And the next day, in come 7 more horses, and they run and they stay at his ranch, and then again all the villagers come and they say, oh wow, that's so awesome, you have 7 horses now. And he's like, well, maybe. That's not good or bad, maybe, we'll see. And the next day after that, his son is riding a horse. Well, he's trying to tame the horse because they're wild, and he ends up falling and breaking his arm. And then the villagers come again and say, oh, that's so bad, your son broke his arm. And he's like, maybe. And then again, or the next day, there's a war going on, and all these people come to the village, and they're taking all the kids, all the young men that can fight in the war, but they don't take his son because he has a broken arm. And then they're like, oh, well, that's so awesome, they didn't take your son, and because he had a broken arm. And he said maybe. So that's kind of how I try to look at things. Like, a few months ago, I think back in October, I got pulled over. I was speeding. I was going through a truck stand. I guess it's 25, and I was going 40. It was like 4 in the morning, and they pulled me over. I got a speeding ticket. I was like, whatever. But as soon as he pulled away, I just automatically thought of that story. Like okay, maybe this is a good thing. You know, maybe if I would have kept going 40 miles or 45 in this area where I think it's okay to go 40 or 45, you know, maybe in the future something or someone could have got hurt. I don't know. But maybe this is a good thing that happened to me. So a lot of it is mindset, I think.
Absolutely. Totally I mean, it's like our mindset can literally board us on a crazy train roller coaster, or we can use it as a tool and bring it into peace, you know, and have our mind work with us instead of, I feel like sometimes it can feel like this opposing force. Where we're
like your story with the trash can and the flowers.
And that whole idea that yes, in any moment we get to decide, is this going to be a flower garden moment or I'm at the dump moment with myself, and because we're the ones having the experience, and because part of us expressing our power is our choices. And so it's our choice to decide, okay, again, you know, like the...
Let me check something.
Oh, sure. And I think our battery things are saying...
Let me get some chargers for that.
I think I have my charger too.
Yeah, this camera stops recording after 30 minutes, so...
At least, you know, it's like the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, I heard it go off. You need a charger?
No, I brought one actually.
I have an extension.
Perfect.
Pull it out.
Hold on, folks. We're adjusting for technical. I know the cord's adding an interesting element to our setup.
There's
That might be there. Thank you.
And then there's one on the other side.
Oh, perfect. Sorry about that.
Oh, whoops. Live video ended. No. One of my, someone commented on my video and said they knew you from Liberty High School.
From Liberty?
Yeah.
I didn't go to Liberty. I don't know.
No?
No. I went to Stockdale. So
Georgina? Do you know?
Georgina. Oh, Georgina. That sounds familiar.
No?
But Georgina. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I wonder if she at some point went to Stockdale or like somehow a
Yeah.
friend or there or something that we all had. Or at the time I was going to Laurel Glen Bible Church.
Okay.
So if she's a churchgoer, I might maybe know her that way. Because I was involved in the youth group. Oh, you know what? And I think my cord is in front of your camera. I just have to move it.
Oh, no.
So that way is not giving everybody a...
There we go.
And are you visible? I think I just need to...
Should be good.
Cool. It's nice to have the video archive as well as the...
I know.
the sound.
I've made the mistake of every time I'll do the live, I always forget that you could save it. So it'll say, you know, your video's done, and I just press done. I'm like, oh, I forgot. I should have saved it. So
I tried Instagram Live after our conversation.
Yeah,
it was the new moon ritual, moon ritual on the activity, and it was a lot of fun to use it. But I just feel like it wasn't as intuitive for the saving, and for me, like I like to be able to save it, and
it didn't let you save it.
It didn't let me save it, and
Wow.
it glitched out kind of like yours, where it like just decided that it was. So I think design wise, it might be good for shorter stuff.
Shorter stuff.
And then and keeping the Facebook, and then just people from my page, because I always use Facebook Live, and even though I had said I'm gonna be on Instagram, this just was the go-to was to go to Facebook.
Did your memory run out quick on your phone?
I got on the phone. I got I got the one.
Oh, the
120. Yeah, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, I have the 64 or whatever. So I have to delete stuff all the time. Delete pictures, like it gives me that alert that I'm running out of space.
You're like, no, but I have I have pictures to take, right? Video to do. What do you mean I need?
Yeah. So that full moon ritual, or no, not full moon, new moon.
New moon and full moon though, but yeah, I've done both. Yeah.
Okay. What's that about? Is that
So how I see it is a grounded approach from, definitely pulling from some Native American traditions, as well as some spiritual traditions, and even some pagan traditions, but really making it all my own. And for me, I see it as the new moon is all about what we want to manifest, what we want to create. It's an intention setting time, and so that's why we create the scroll as an activity to put all of our intentions using 9 different areas of our life to focus in and zero in, like what we'd like to manifest, what we'd like to bring in during that month, that moon cycle, or at least begin to work on. It doesn't always manifest, but at the same time, with consistency, I've seen amazing results with my own life, and also other people that have done it with me, because I used to do it in LA, like in a space, like not over the internet that didn't exist at that time, this way. And then the full moon is all about release and completion. Like, what do we want to complete? What do we want to be done with? Well, is there a habit that I'm ready to just say, okay, that this has been great, I've enjoyed you, but now I want to have this experience. So like, what do I want to let go of? What do I want to surrender? And the activity with that is writing down a list of all of those things. Free flow, there's less organization there, and then to burn it, and then to really just have an experience to really let it go. And then with both, there's usually a guided meditation. I pull some cards, like to tune into the overall energy of that particular moon cycle, that particular full moon or that particular new moon, and for me, it's again just taking a few beats to get quiet, to go within, to ask myself these bigger questions, like about life or where I'm headed, and to utilize the flow of the moon. Like, it literally moves the tides of the ocean, and our bodies are made up of a lot of water, so it is having an effect on us. I mean, statistically, people do get a little bit crazier during the full moon. I mean, that's true. And so, and more on the new moon, people can get more internal, want to be kind of alone. On the more.
What do you think that is?
I feel like the universe is always working with us to create. Part of creating the flow, how I see it right now in this moment, is because of all these moving bodies, these moving energies, and how they play on us, and how we play with them. How much are we owning our life? Are we, standing in our light, guiding, driving our car, so to speak, or are we a passenger letting someone else drive? That's going to really determine how we feel these different kinds of energies. We could feel, if we're playing the victim, at the mercy of them, and if we're playing as our empower itself, we are the creators of them. We're causing them, so it's a different kind of way to see it. So it just kind of depends on where you want to play the game. So
it's interesting to think about, because when you sent me the links, and the first one I went to is Vigilant Citizen, and the first one that was on there was a video of Nicki Minaj and the Masonic symbolism in her music video. So it sent me down a rabbit hole that I've been on since, like, since then I've just been looking into everything, just trying to like figure things out. Like, okay, what is this? Like, what is that? And now I can't even watch movies without looking at what's in the back. Like, what's that symbol back there?
Is there a checkerboard floor on the ground?
I think I know what that is.
Uh-huh.
So, what is the ritual, is that like, because along with that I kind of started looking into the cult a little bit, like, okay, well, what is that, and started learning about it a little bit more, and I've gotten a different idea than what I had before, because before I think just hearing the word the occult, I was like, it would have like a negative thing like right away.
An occult simply means hidden, and I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misinformation, and again, I'm not a part of any hidden organization, and even if I was, I wouldn't be able to say it, but I'm not, so, but there's a lot of different ones, and all the different organizations have different agendas, and so like this whole idea, like you said, like can have this negative tone, or it's all satanic, or it's all this, or it's all that. I don't think that's true. Not that I don't think that there's a hidden hand of power. I feel like that does exist. And I've been down a lot of different rabbit holes, and what I've just found with my own intuition about that is that it's good for me to know and what I'm guided to know, but it's very easy to get lost. It's very easy to get mad and angry, and I feel like there's a growing up, a maturity of just, knowing what's going on around us, but then at the same time, I feel like I'm not here to play the game the old way, I'm here to create a new way, like in situations like this, what you've created, and with my Facebook Live show, that just working to create a different kind of community, a different conversation, and we didn't need to be a part of a group or an occult hidden group, we didn't need to be a part of a mystery school to get the information, like we're literally we're each tuning in and learning from our own lives, like we're pulling I don't know from where, I don't really know, from out of us, it's coming from us. And so for those of us that are going with it and not totally freaked out by it, but not that there aren't points where it's crazy, but just along for the ride, that there's a lot of fun there, and it really has led me at least to a place where it's like anything can happen, and I'm differently okay with that. Like that used to terrify me, that anything could happen. Like, what do you mean anything can happen? Oh my God! Like it just made my mind go like just worry and just anyway. So again, back to like the power of retraining our mind to work with us and for us, instead of being kind of like the scared child that is just trying to like scream at us like, oh my God, do you see what's over here? Do you know what's going on over there? And like, oh, you know what happened last time? And all like, so that voice, learning how to engage it so it can be heard, but just because it's heard doesn't mean we're going to do it. But just having that engagement allows us to do it a different way. It gives us some space to say, okay, I'm not going to react the same way I've reacted every time that this comes up. I'm going to choose a response that's a little bit different here. And it gives us space to do that.
So how do you choose like what which rituals, or how do you hear about them? How do you decide which one, like, oh, that might be one I want to try, or one I want to?
For me, I tune in to any class I've ever taken, anybody I've sought out for a reading. I tune in, and whether I'm reading their brochure, their website, or watching a video, or however I'm hearing about them, and then it's like I ask myself, is this for me or not? Or like, and oftentimes I don't even need to ask. I just feel magnetic, drawn to it, like, and that's when I really know, like, okay, there's something there for me, even if I don't know exactly what it is, but I just know there's something for me to go through the experience, and I haven't steered myself wrong when I've been listening to my own intuition in that way. Not that they've all been glorious or amazing, or but at the same time, I know, because I've gone in with the intention, like, I know there's something for me here, there's always something for me there. You know what I'm saying?
So that's true. There's a lot of things in life that I think we kind of are just pulled into automatically.
Mm-hmm.
For my followers or the people that watch me and they don't know who you are, can you tell them a little bit about what you do, the spiritual advisor side of it, your show on Facebook, and
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You can search me under J. Richard Varvel, and I have a website that's jrichardvarvel.com, or on Facebook you just search J. Richard Varvel, you'll find me. You can search J. Richard Varvel on Instagram as well, YouTube and VidMe. So the show I have is called the JRV Morning Show, and I have it archived in different locations just because I feel like it can reach a different, broader audience, as well as I found VidMe is a far more fluid site. I feel like YouTube has gotten kind of clogged up with just so much content. So VidMe, just for those out there. There's another site that for those that want to really get into vlogging and sharing your experience, it's a place to check out and post your videos and to get some traction. And so anyhow, I also do private sessions, and I do healing sessions where that's a full-on experience where if you come to the east side of town up to my house, I have a healing room. We use aromatherapy, stones and crystals. There's calming music, really setting the stage for you to go very deep within. And then I always, check in, have the person create intentions around what do they want to experience, what is it they want to focus on, and so creating a whole experience around that. And then the readings are more simplified in the sense it's just verbal messages that come through, confirming what oftentimes I find we already know, but it's nice to hear it from outside ourselves, especially coming from someone that, if I were to give you a reading, for example, that I wouldn't know anything about you and be able to tell you things about yourself. That's always a little bit fascinating and confirming, because it's like, how does that person know? And there's something to the whole experience, the energy exchange. So those are the two main things I offer. And then I also blend essential oils. I've used essential oils in my own life to really, they've helped me connect to Mother Earth, to my own creative abilities, to my own sensitivities, to be more comfortable with myself. And then now I've learned how to blend them and really gotten into the alchemy. That's something I really love to share, because I know how much it's worked for me, and I know that how awesome they are, because they bring in a whole light energy from the sun and from spirit and from the earth that's really recharges us, and it helps clear the crap easily. It helps because they smell good and they're natural, there's no chemicals. They just can easily bring us into a more uplifted state. So those are the main focuses on what I'm up to.
And I was explaining to someone a little bit about, I was telling them who my next guest was going to be, and I was telling them you do the aromatherapy thing, and then they asked, does that stuff work? I was like, have you ever lit a candle? And did you feel better after? They're like, oh, that's true. And it is true. Sometimes,
good point.
Sometimes things like lighting the candle and knowing the candle's there and smelling it, and it just sends a bunch of just good vibes. Your energy gets better, and even buying a new soap in the shower or a new shampoo and putting it on, and it's something new than when a lot of times when you have a shampoo, or at least with me, I'll have it and it'll last me a long time, and then when I buy a new one, it's so refreshing, and it's and it's just the smell. How did you learn how to mix the oils and do all that?
That was an awesome experience. I feel like there was a couple things happening. There was my intuitive sense that was kind of showing me how I could work with the oils, but I didn't give myself the freedom to try. And a class came along that was really geared around using your intuition to create the blends and to tune into spirit, and it's really from the ancient mystery schools of Isis. And I feel like in my experience, I've taken it beyond that and made it my own. So I just feel like once you begin to work with the oils, they begin to communicate with you and tell a story and give information. And so it's just this ongoing learning. But anyways, I went to Maui February of last year in 2016, and spent a week there with a woman that I've used her oils and really found a lot of value in using hers. And I just it was amazing learning the process, and now being able to create my own and use my own. It just, for me, takes it to a whole other level, just because I'm being able to use my own creation, but then also to be able to share it with the world and put it out there. But that's been interesting, because one thing I've noticed with that, and then this is just like, I feel like a little side note for those of you that want to do this, that when you put a product or you put yourself out there, I've noticed that I've had to really confront my own doubt, my doubty self, my unworthiness in a whole other way, because I feel like I've learned that if I don't believe in myself and I don't believe in the product I've created, then how can I then expect someone to believe it, let alone get excited about it and want to buy it, if I'm not there?
Yeah.
And so that has been something I've really had to work on owning.
Yeah.
You know, that I really have done this, and that it is my creation, you know, and it's just, it's a wild, you know, like, back to the whole idea, it's a process, you know, and it's a wild process. And
where can people pick them up or find them?
Yes, so you can visit my Facebook page and message me there, or call me directly. My number is 818-216-1050. And then I'm also starting on Wednesday, going to be carried at the beautiful Sequence Spa. It's a spa/clothing store downtown, right there near 19th and I, between the Syndicate and Riley's. And it's a great store. There's all kinds of awesome men's and women's clothes, and Bella, one of the owners, she's really picks great items, and you could really find some unique pieces there.
Yeah.
And then her sister runs the mini spa in the back, and she's created this beautiful space, this room that you can go, and so the essential oils will be there to demo and to test, as well as to purchase.
Yeah.
And so that I'm going to be doing my Facebook Live show from there Wednesday to kind of kick it off.
Yeah.
So that will be a place here in town. And then to come, I'm working on creating a shopping cart website conglomeration, but that hasn't totally come together yet.
Yeah.
But that's to be continued, and hopefully sooner rather than later on that.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm looking forward to, hopefully, I forgot to ask you to bring it today, but the aromatherapy bottles out, if you're going to test them.
I have some actually with me.
Sure, let's check them out.
So these are my big bottles. Actually these are 8 ounces, which I know for you on the podcast you can't see. But I also make a 4 ounce, which is a little bit more user friendly, especially.
Give them a better look if they want to see what the bottle looks like.
Awesome. So
this is a tester, right?
Yes, it is, and yeah, you can go ahead and give it a shake, because it is oil. It's 36 drops of essential oils, the particular blend, mixed with spring water, and so it's nice and refreshing. They all have their own scent and vibration. I come from the more energy side of things, so like for this one, for example, it's Bright Shining Star, and it's release and allow your energy. And it's almost like, I see it as unleash your energy, like let yourself out of our own box, and allow ourselves to just shine brighter and not be, for me, I had trouble wanting to be invisible, wanting to just like, leave me alone. And so it's helped me come out of my shell. And so each one has kind of a different angle in that way. Like,
I need that because I have that too.
it helps. Like, I just find with essential oils, like they just have a way of tuning us into like good stuff, like good feelings, good energy. Like they're like essential oils, and I use therapeutic grade, and it's important to work with them therapeutic grade, because that means the molecules are intact, and that means the medicinal aspect is intact, because the plants they do turn the solar light into usable energy through photosynthesis, and because the plant material gets brought down into that pure form, and it's a high concentration, literally all that light, our body can use it on a lot of different layers. So we take it in our skin, we take it in through our lungs. Like with doTERRA and Young Living, you can take it in through water. So there's a lot of different ways we can have interactions with essential oils, and they're plant medicine. It's like cannabis or magic mushrooms. Like, as again, you doing research and using all of it very responsibly. They're all, it's like like a medicine you go to the doctor and get, you know?
Yeah.
You'd want to know what you're doing. So I feel like there's some research that's involved in getting to work with people that might know a little bit more to help guide that ship, so to speak, as you're getting your own feet wet, if essential oils are your bag. And I come at it from this angle, like a more spiritual, metaphysical angle, where I do, like if you could come have a blend made. You can come with 3 to 5 of your own life or spiritual intentions. We can put it into the oil, and then you'd have your own unique personal blend for yourself that doesn't smell anything like anyone else does anything. You know, would be created for you to help you manifest your dreams, your intentions. And so I feel like there's ways we can use these different earth-given plants and minerals, and
how often can you spray them or use them?
You can use it all, like the sprays, all the time. The only thing with children, just because they are essential oils and there isn't anything necessarily poisonous, and I don't think there's enough to really cause too much of a reaction, but still I think it's, again, they're essential oils and they are like kind of a pow worth of scent, and kids can be sensitive, and then also just adults that might have strong reactions to smell might use it like sparingly. But for those that really enjoy yummy smells at will,
I'm loving it right now. I can still smell it right now. It's like it's refreshing. It sets a different energy like right away. As soon as you spray it, if you're feeling a certain type of way, and if you have that in your mind that when you spray this, you're gonna have this new energy, and even without thinking it, you kind of just feel it anyways.
Well, and I feel like, again, it's part mental, part the physical, but I feel like the great thing, again, too, with the essential oils is it's merging the smell, that very physical sensation that we have with ourselves, and then how it can have us feel different. You know, that's a very inner world experience, and how it does both, you know, and so that's one of the reasons why I just think it's like, yes, I'm all about essential oils and using these different tools to our advantage, you know what I mean? Like, if we could do something quick to boost our energy and shift our energy and get us out of a funk, and why not use them, you know what I mean? It's from the earth. It's not, you didn't have to take a Xanax, and I'm not saying that this is a replacement, but there are ways that we can move away from chemicals and into more natural remedies, and again, that is something that everybody has to discover on their own and do responsibly. But I find value in that journey. There's a lot of things that we've been told are bad or that aren't good, but that might not be true. You know, that might not be the whole story, or that might have, you know, we might be taking it out of context. So it's a good thing to go back and look and ask questions and just make sure, you know, is there anything here for me or not? You know what I mean? Instead of just letting ourselves make snap judgments about things based on what we've already heard. And that, you know, that might be cutting us off from being, you know, experiencing something brand new.
I think this is a little bit off topic, but with how you're saying about how some people just automatically they rush to a judgment without even ever trying it. I had an experience with a customer at my work where we had these new cards that they just gave us, and we're supposed to use them to bring them into the store, and they're supposed to help us. They're supposed to help the store owners, the customers, everyone around the area, and it's just supposed to be a better experience. But the way he kind of looked at it was I was bringing it in, and he thought it was the pallet jack, which the pallet jack gets a lot heavier, and I do understand sometimes they can break their tile, so he was automatically like, no, take that out. And I was like, this is new, this isn't the same thing that you saw before, this is new, it's
different,
it's different, it works for your floor, the wheels are made so that they're user friendly, you know. And he's like, no, take it out. I was like, can I show you how it works first? Can I? And he was not having it. He didn't want to see. He didn't want. And I was being a little bit stubborn that day too. And I was like, I'm not gonna take this out of the store until I show you how this works. Let me show you, and then if you still decide that you don't want to use it, I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. But just at least
let me just show you. 2 seconds.
And I mean, I think this is very beneficial. I just felt it right now, honestly. Like the the energy, like I just want to keep spraying it over and over,
so you can use
so it doesn't stop, you know.
Yeah, and this spray form, it's really great for on the go. But I do also make a smaller version that would be the considered like the personal blend. It's in jojoba oil. It's in a small little 15 milliliter bottle. You put it on drops, like a few drops at a time, so it lasts at least a month. Using it like at least 3 times a day, and it's really, again, tuning into the good smell, getting recharged from the essential oils, tuning into that frequency that the spirit literally creates through your intentions with the essential oils, and taking that, you know, at least 3 times a day, taking that time out to stop and have a moment with ourselves. So it's like on multiple levels, working to our advantage, getting us more present. And when I say present, sometimes people don't understand, like, oh, who cares about presence? Well, presence is important because there's this whole idea of, you can see like a pendulum swinging, you know, past and future and past and future. And when we're operating from that place and we're swinging back and forth, you know, again, our mind isn't very stable from that place. And so it's hard to get to the, like, what's most important right now, because what if my thoughts are all in the future? You know, then I'm going to be seeing it from that slant. Or if I'm trapped in the past with all the anchors in the past, and then I'm limited with that view. So again, presence brings us into the moment and allows us to see the potential, the possibilities, and be able to go with it all from that moment. And when we're always in that moment, or mostly in that moment as much as we can be, then that means we're always able to be right in time, so to speak, with the universe. And I don't think we're ever out of time, but at the same time, there's a different kind of synchronicity we can experience when we're present, and when we're consciously aware of what we're experiencing. You know, we can just make different choices from that place. We can hear ourselves. We're within ourselves when we're present, and that just allows for so many different things to happen. And it really brings us into our power. Our power is from our presence.
Yeah.
You know, the power of now, you know, those are these different cliches, but that's where I see the power of it and why.
Yeah. Are there going to be testers at the, like, Beautiful Sequence?
Yes.
So they could try which one they feel the most energy or the most, you know. Absolutely.
There's going to be both spray testers as well as the oil blend testers, so you can experience both or either one. So that way, and I did that and do that because it is a smell product first, you know, and not that I've seen anyone have that, you know, reaction, but there have been people that are like, whoa, you know, like you know, they might get a hit of geranium or eucalyptus and they might have a strong reaction for some reason. So that can happen, but I think that there's something to all that, you know, in experiencing the oils and what they can bring out of us. So, but yes, there will be testers, so that way you can go and have an experience there. And then I'm oftentimes around town, and if you follow me on Facebook or on Instagram, I'll post, you know, and let people know when I'm going to be at different events. Okay. I've done a couple of classes at the Enchanted Cottage. I've done First Friday before. I've been out at Customer Appreciation Days at Powwow. So there's just, Do
you have any other events coming up?
Coming up, I'm going to be at the Mystic Fair at the Enchanted Cottage. It's their biggest event of the year. There's going to be, I believe, 12 readers. I'll be one of them. And there's also going to be aura photos, live music, massage therapy. There's going to be some different, like, carnival kind of experiences. You can get candles made. The store will be open. It's going to be a big kind of like fun event. And that's going to be May 20th, Saturday, May 20th, from 11 a.m. till midnight. Okay. And then
what's the buy-in to get in?
It's free to get in, so just go for the experience, and then if you want to get tickets, like if you want to get a reading with someone, it's $20.
Okay.
That's where they start. And then I think the aura thing is 2 tickets, so then it's a little bit different, but you can get all that information on the Enchanted Cottage's Facebook page or calling them. And then I have an event coming up in June down in Hollywood for the AIDS Alliance, the Hollywood AIDS Alliance. They're having a fundraiser called Wine and Wisdom, and that's going to be in Hollywood on June 22nd. And
keep going.
So that's going to be a really fun event for me, because I remember when I worked at Warner Brothers back again, my last corporate job, that was it. I left there in 2012. That was one of the events that quite a few people, quite a few of the executives went to. So that will be kind of a fun way for me to be back in that world, so to speak, but coming from a different place. You know, doing it my own way, having my own experience, and being able to be myself in ways that I wasn't able to be myself in.
Okay, so go back. I missed part of that. So you're gonna do something again with Warner Brothers?
No. It's actually with the Hollywood AIDS Alliance. They have a fundraising event that's coming up in June 22nd, and that is for them as a way to. That's an event where they raise money for the Hollywood AIDS Alliance and all the different activities they're a part of. But it's a big event. Like there's goodie bags, and you know, it's a very Hollywood kind of style event. And so I'll be out in the garden area as just part of the quote unquote entertainment. And so, but it'll be just fun to again re-immerse myself in that Hollywood world, but not be associated with a studio or be associated or tied to the job I had, or really the life that I was playing more small. You know, where I was doing what I thought I needed to do. Versus what I really wanted to be doing. And not that I had a great time there. Like I enjoyed a lot of the people that I worked with and what I did get to experience, but at the same time I knew there was more that I wanted to experience in that job that I had. And I knew that it involved leaving. And that took a while, you know, to get there, but I did. I finally left. So
what was that life like out there? Like because I don't know, it's something that it kind of intrigues me. I love doing work with cameras. I don't know if you saw the little video I did of my son with the ice cream truck that drove by. I just did like a short little edit. I put music and I did a little slow motion and
I'll have to look at that. I didn't see that one.
I did like a little slow motion. Added little words, and like since I kind of started this, I started to feel that excitement of learning something new, and with my camera, I kind of want to get more into like maybe doing a music video or just making short little movies, or just with my family doing like cool little edits. And so I've actually looked into how to get into like how to get my foot in the door to work with as maybe a sound guy or the lighting guy, or just something just to kind of be around like the filmmaking that goes on in that world. What was it like for you being in that with Warner Brothers? So
I was on the bit more business side of things. So I was in a high rise that was across the street from the lot, and so even though I oftentimes had to go over there for business, and I would always make reasons to go for a walk, including even if or lunch break, whatever. To be over there, and so in the sense I got to see from a distance some of the production and what is involved. I mean, with some of these productions, like, you know, semi-truck after semi-truck with all this tech equipment, all these wires, and like it's this organized chaos. You know, for everybody that's the crew of these different productions and the way they move, and everybody has a specific job, and everybody, you know, there's a way to do it. So there is an element, I feel like, you know, for example, if you wanted to go do it, like getting your foot in the door, you know, I feel like the fact that you already feel an excitement from being able to express your creativity and have fun with it, that you know, you showing that you want to learn, and that I feel like, you know, the universe would line you up with a teacher, so to speak, you know, a mentor that could assist in helping you, you know the ropes, you know, because it's kind of like one of those things that once you get in there and get going, you'll figure it out on your own. But it's nice to have someone that can help.
And something like that kind of happened a little bit. I don't even remember how it happened or how I found it, but I found a podcast called Hollywood Backbone, and it's a podcast about they kind of interview or have a conversation with someone that's in the department of sound or set dressing or the wardrobe department, or all that stuff. And I was like, whoa, like I've already been thinking about this, and then it just like appeared.
I mean, and then that's where the whole ask and you shall receive kind of comes into play, you know, and the fact that you were present and saw that. You know, sometimes people would just, oh, you know, you have an excuse, or I'm not there yet, or whatever it is that might have stopped you from going to visit it, and actually see what's there. But yeah, I mean, I think that when we put ourselves out there, we show the universe, this is what I want, it begins to move things in our direction. It really starts to bring people and opportunities and different events that maybe not in the way we thought it was going to come, but maybe in the way we did think it was going to come. You never know. Like, that's the fun part about the universe, is just being able to be ready for it. And just knowing you're ready, because if you're just being yourself, you're always ready to be yourself, right? If we're not trying to be something else, then we're always ready. That's the...
Have you ever had any experiences that were kind of like weird, or how it just kind of aligned, or you kind of after thinking something and then all of a sudden something happened, or do you have any stories like that?
I have a few.
Oh yeah.
Well, the one thing that comes to mind, and this, because I just feel like it'll be a good way to kind of wrap up what we've already talked about, and like being able to see different things that we might label as not good, but see how there could be a benefit. And I think I shared a little bit with you at Dagny's, but when I lived in LA last year, I had just gotten back from Hawaii. I just learned the blending. I was on this high from all that, and just feeling like, oh hey, that things are getting going. I was really working on getting my business going in a different way, trying to get it off the ground really. And I was walking home one night and was held up at gunpoint. And this guy, he just literally had the gun out from, and even as I was walking, I knew that I was walking into something, but at the same time I knew there was nothing I could do not to do it. Like, I just knew I just had to something just said, you just be in the experience. And little did I know what I was walking into. And right before, I was listening to Unstoppable by Sia. So I was pumping myself up, apparently.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. and even when he came around the corner with a gun and faced it right at me, and I knew it was real, but there was a part of me that just thought, am I going to have some kind of angel superpowers right now? And like, I heard no. And so I just stopped, and I think I verbalized, like, is this really happening? And then he was like, yes, and he cocked the gun, and that just again made it more real. And again, I didn't think he was going to shoot me, but I didn't know. I mean, I really didn't know. Who knows in that situation? But I feel like me being calm didn't trigger him, because he was a little shorter than me, and I feel like even though he had the gun, there was still this aspect that he was a little guy, and I could have tried something, or like, and so I just stayed calm and did what he said. He took my bag. And so the point of the story beyond that being held up is I wasn't hurt. So even though I had to really process, like, facing, being confronted with the possibility of death, or being, pistol whipped or whatever, the real magic has come full circle, and I didn't even get to this point till just recently, was the whole idea that what was stolen out of the bag, I had 2 oils, and it was 2 oils that were made for me in Hawaii from 2 of the other people that were taking the class. And part of me thought, well, I could reach out to them and see if they'll blend it again and then send it to me. And then my guidance was like, no, just make your own. But part of the teaching from the teacher was that it doesn't work the same if you make it for yourself. And I felt like that was limiting. And so part of me having to prove that was limiting was literally making one for myself. So I made Bright Shining Star for myself to help me get through that process, to move through my fears, to not allow it to make me, more invisible than I already felt like I was, but to use it as a catalyst to go in another way, to take it in another direction. And little did I know, by me making the oils and not going back, like, what that started. I mean, that allowed me to make, now I have 10 blends, and I've made 2 for myself. The rest were all for other people. But the fact that I've been able to do that and now get it to a place where it's in a store and people can purchase it, and really just seeing it like in physical form, it's real. Even today before I came, I went to the Mercy Southwest little garden that you can walk around in to get ready, and I had a moment where I was just like, this is real, I'm really doing this. And that was like, it's still settling in for me. That's,
what does that feel like?
A little bit right now, overwhelming. But again, it's back to like owning it. It's like, owning what we're up to, and like being able to stand in our creation, and to not, for me, I've had this feeling of wanting to minimize myself to allow other people to feel good, and to feel like almost like, let me stand out of the way so you can, be big, like, stop playing small. But in doing so, I've just cut myself playing small. And so it's been this interesting experience to, expand myself out and jump out of, shell after shell, limiting belief after limiting belief, and in that ever ongoing process. But now more than ever having fun with it. Like, it wasn't so much fun at the beginning, but now I'm having a different flow. But yeah, just like allowing myself to have that, that moment where it's like a little overwhelming, and that's part of the experience. It's part of it.
And I think that's a great story to end on.
Yeah.
That was an amazing story with what I asked you, how the universe kind of just spoke back to you, and now here you are with 10 blends, and it's just amazing. So for people who want to watch J. Richard Barbell more, he's on Facebook. He already said this.
Yes.
I love his show. His show on Facebook, he does at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. It's on it's on Facebook. J. Richard Barbell, 11 a.m. Check out his page.
Thank you, awesome.
all of the great things that he's doing, and I think not only is he's doing these blends, but with the show, I think he's actually helping a lot of people. I think it helps me when I watch your show, and it reminds me to get more consistent with my meditation, with my getting more in touch with my spiritual side. So just check it out.
Awesome.
You're on YouTube right now, probably watching this right now. So go to Facebook and type in J. Richard Barbell. So
thank you for that.
And thank you again for coming in and doing this.
And to my camera, just one more time, tell everybody your podcast name, so that way if people want to find it, they can keep in touch with you and link it with you. It's
a KC Elements Podcast on Instagram. I just made a Facebook, but I haven't put anything on there. So, but I'm mostly on Instagram. So, check it out. This is going to be my 3rd episode so far. I have done 2 episodes, and it's just basically about all the amazing people we have in our community that are doing things artistically, or like Jay, that's with both the side of business and spiritually. And there's just so many cool people, and I think in our community that are doing things, and it's kind of a good thing to get to know them a little bit better. Like now I'm sure some of you guys know Jay for other things, but with this podcast you might see a different side of him that maybe you haven't seen before. So and then some other podcasts, I just kind of want to get maybe an idea of how they started, what was the experience like, or any, just hearing cool stories and getting to know these people that are doing all these things.
Awesome. That's so awesome. And I love that you're doing that, and I feel like that's the key to the transformation of our cities and our towns, is really like the whole idea of community, bringing it back to the communities that we are living in. And not that, through technology it can't expand out and be, bigger than the community, but I feel like we can really do so much right here, that we might not be doing because our focus is everywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's important. Why not take care of where we live? Because that's where we live, that's where we're growing up, or that's where we're living our life. And so it's important to take care of our stuff and take care of our community, and to
get in touch with everybody.
And open up a little bit. Yeah. And I'm here too, saying it and how I could do that as well. Like, how can, anyways. We're doing it. We're doing it. Yeah. So yes.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and have an amazing day.
Woo-hoo. Awesome sauce.